When I think about my dad, I think about everything from strength and joy and sacrifice. There's never been a moment when, I couldn't, call on my dad for, things that I needed.
Whenever there was an opportunity, if we went to some Catholic church, some large church downtown Chicago, afterwards he would stay and ask the priest, can my son go up and play the organ? People are like, no one else would dare ask something like that. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And I'd go up and I'd play some Stakes or Kansas or Boston or something. And then they'd take me down. And it was just every time there was an opportunity, my dad would say, try this, try that.
He was like my best friend, at one point my boss, and like my idol, because I was so into music and what he did. Like he got me into everything that I like and like my career of choice at this point in time. So like that is the foundation.
So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors.
True colors are beautiful
as a rainbow.
My earliest memories are of my dad playing us music while we were getting ready for bed or getting into bed.
Which probably means, a 4-year-old who doesn't want to go to bed yet. So, but it was a way to participate with your child. It wasn't necessarily that music had to be there, but it was the tool that was part of what I had, so it worked.
And it was fun.
It's still fun.
It's still fun.
Even though he's a rock star, literally, and you see him on stage doing every single thing, he's still just my dad. I mean, I've seen my dad play 1,000 times in my life. It's like another side of my dad outside of his regular, doing yard work kind of life. I do a lot of that too.
Acting on your best behavior, turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world.
I grew up with my dad playing this guitar in the house. Of course, you think your dad is the coolest guy on the planet. I also thought this was the coolest guitar on the planet. I was too little to play it physically and probably even pick it up for that matter, but I would sneak in and I would open the case and pluck the strings.
Well, every kid wants to, be like their dad, so it's like, all right, well, let me, play, and be like him. When he could, he'd come down and come to concerts and things like that. It's funny because though music may have brought separation, of course, with him having to travel and do things like that, it ultimately, brought us back together because,
it did.
We're here now.
He was 100% supportive of what I did, but he often used hard love to push me forward. He would drive me to practices, supporting me everywhere he could, and one day when he picked me up from early band practice, on the way home he said, "So son, you got a band name yet?" I went, "Yeah, we just found one. We're gonna be called Grim Reaper." And he went, "That's a stupid, dark, evil name. It's gonna pigeonhole you. Think it over. Don't do that." I was politely rude back and said, "Hey, you know what? I respect your opinion, but I like the name. It sticks." And the rest of the drive was pretty silent, actually, because I had nothing to say. But the following morning I got up, he'd already gone to work. On my plate on the breakfast table, there were 3 sheets of paper with logo designs, lettering designs, the whole 9 yards. So he was 100% behind me. His "that's a dumb name" ploy was literally hard love. He just wanted to literally, no pun intended, test my mettle.
This is a Yamaha guitar from the 70s. My dad gave me this guitar when I was about 11 years old. I've had it for almost 30 years. And with it came a sheet of notebook paper with 3 chords drawn out. And that was kind of the start of my musical journey.
My dad was a legend in the music products industry. But a month after he passed, I made the decision to go to the NAMM show and meet with all of his clients. And while I was there, they have a ceremony for people who passed that year, like Lou Reed was just before him in the slideshow. But I look up on this huge projector and I see his face and a ton of people are clapping and cheering. And I was like, oh my God, he wasn't just my dad and best friend, he was so many things to so many different people in this industry, and it made me really proud to be his daughter.
He also built stuff like this case behind me. He built that for a guitar I had. It's airline baggage handler, or should I say mishandler proof. And he actually put a flip back stand on it so it could be used as a stand as well. He knew how to make functional stuff. And if you watch the Grim Reaper video for See You in Hell, a charming country folk song, the big Grim Reaper you see behind the drum kit, the set designers didn't build that, he did, because that's the kind of guy he was.
When I was maybe 9 or so years old, there was an accident, and I watched my dad lose 2 fingers on his right hand. The doctor at the hospital, when we rushed him in, made kind of a joke when he was in recovery about, it's a good thing you're not a musician for a living because you'll never play a musical instrument. And I saw my dad's eyes well up. After that, I watched him as I was learning to play guitar, relearn to play guitar, and relearn the saxophone and relearn the piano, missing fingers. It was just a huge inspiration.
The things he can do on the saxophone, the things he can do with music, his understanding for music theory, the things he's done in his career, you can't do that without, dedication and hard work and submitting yourself and humbling yourself to sit up under somebody and learn. That's something that I definitely learned from my dad.
He allowed me to play in these clubs in Chicago between the ages of 16 and about 17. And he didn't drink, he didn't enjoy bars, but he would sit there and literally drink a glass of milk and watch me play classic rock songs. I just learned to enjoy music by watching him enjoy music.
He was at every vocal performance, every instrument recital. He was always super supportive and showed me what it meant and how much it meant to support somebody in their music, to show up and to be there and to be present, because he always was.
Once I was sort of grown up and playing in bands, and he'd got some different guitars, he was like, it's time to patch the Les Paul torch. And so now this is in my house, and I've noticed my son doing the same thing where he goes in and peaks. So I hope one day he wants to play guitar, we'll jam. I look forward to that.
Playing music with my family is closer to the heart than it is playing with an act on stage, even as great as that can be. You know, when you're on stage performing with with your son, like Anthony, or my daughter, there's a closeness, there's a bond. It's just fun to share the stage with my son.
We're never going to sell a record, but we can have fun. So that's really, having fun with your daughter is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool to have fun with your dad too.
And I guess that's what I got from my dad, was how to enjoy music just at its pure level. So when I go to a gig, I'm never afraid to be on stage. I'm just having a good time, you know? And when I demonstrate a keyboard on a video, I'm just having a good time. And just imagining my dad kind of just out there listening and enjoying it. And I try to pass that on to my kids.
And so I guess as I'm getting older, this is what matters more. If I never ever play another day in my life after today, this is what means the most to me. You know, this right here. Not the big stadium stages, all that stuff, playing all over. This is what matters. This is more, I can't buy this.
Yeah.
You can't buy this. Did I ever think in my wildest dreams I'd be playing with my children? And the answer is no. But I'm thankful that it happened. I love you, man.
Love you too.
Just thank you.
It's all good, because we're here now.
Thank you, man.